is Chief Daisy Santos, and today I just want to record something for you guys, to help you out in your VA journey. I know it's been a while since I last sent you anything helpful since I started the Chief's playbook, and I've been meaning to, but life gets crazy. And as you know, I started the Chief's playbook because it is my passion. It, Teaching has always been my passion, and I'm just a little down that I'm not able to give more of my time as I was hoping I could. But today, let's focus on the bright side. Today I have all the time, and hopefully I'd be able to oops, I bumped the table. But hopefully today I'd be able to impart something helpful with you guys. I don't have a anything a slideshow or anything planned for today, but I just want to touch on executive assistant niche, because I understand that the way I see it, at least most of the people are new in the VA industry are seeing executive assistant niche as their entry point. So I want to touch that a little, what it involves, and what's the scope of the being an executive assistant. But before we get to that though, what you see here on the screen now is the slides that is included in the Chief Playbook PDF that I sent everyone. If you haven't downloaded it yet, I hope you do, because it's very helpful, at least from the feedback I've been getting. It's very helpful. So you have a version of that slide on YouTube. If you want to watch it on your phone or whatever, you can do that. And there's also a version of the slide deck on Canva. And it's free. Okay, I created that for everyone to utilize, to make the most out of. And it also has a bunch of resources that you can use, for if you're looking for jobs, if you want to build your portfolio, if you're looking for agents, VA agencies, and free online courses. There's more. Every once in a while, I send some in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, please do, because whenever I can, whenever I encounter something helpful, something useful, I send it on the Facebook group. And here are a bunch of free tools as well, must-haves, and so on. Basically, it's your most basic PDF go-to, or your guide where to start. And let me just put a disclaimer out there: the videos, the training materials that I'm sending your way are all for beginners. I have been in this industry for 14 years now, and my idea of a beginner may be different from yours. So there's a bit of disparity there. So what I'm asking you is to DM me anytime you have questions, because I really wouldn't know how to help you if you don't tell me where you're at in your journey. Okay, so ask me questions. Do not hesitate to ask questions, because I'm going to try my best. I always try my best to respond to them. And if you need a specific video tutorial, or maybe a how-to SOP for whatever task you have in mind, whatever tool you want to learn, whatever platform, if I know how to do it, if I know how to navigate my way around that tool, I'm going to help you. And if I can, I'm going to try and source out helpful tutorials for you. It may not be me, I may not be the one doing the video tutorial for you, but I'm pretty sure I could find a helpful guide for you. Okay, so DM me anytime. Anyhow, let's get back to our subject for today. The topic for today, it's gonna be about being an executive assistant. So what is an executive assistant? Again, I don't have any script here. I don't have anything, so we're doing this impromptu. We're just free flowing. But what is an executive assistant? It's basically your idea of a secretary, in an office setting, in a corporate setting. Well, they don't call it secretary anymore. It's really EA, whether it's virtual or not. But it's whatever your boss or your client says it is. That's what it is. You could be managing his calendar, you could be managing his social media profiles, you could be scheduling flights or hotel bookings for your client, you could be managing the email, the inbox, you could be making calls, not like a call center, but every once in a while your client may ask you to make calls for him. Um, like I said, it's anything and everything the client says it is. That's what an executive assistant is. It's all the administrative work you can think of and more. So the scope is really vast, and there's just much as I wanna go in depth about the scope. Let me just tighten this. Much as I want to go in depth with the training and the scope, there, there's just no way to pinpoint, identify which one, which ones you're going to be encountering when you have your client. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to go back to the basic, like for instance, um, email management. Let's do that. So for email management, most times, clients would ask you to filter their emails. And when you filter their emails, let me just grab something here. There you go. So I need you, if you are interested uh, in being an executive assistant, what you need to learn would be everything about Google Suite. Because in the virtual world, that's what it's all about. You have to learn. Oh, this is the wrong email. This is for CVS. But let me just make sure. All right, let's do. Okay, let's do this. So Google Suite is going to be your best friend if you are an executive assistant, because it would be the one that you will be using with whatever tasks your client is handling or your client is asking you to handle. So for the inbox, most times, about 90% of the time, your client will be using Google for their email account. But there's that 10% who still uses MS Office. Our CVS email, the email for the main email address for Cheap Virtual Solutions, is based on MS Office for a while, but it drove me really crazy. It drove me insane. So I had to transfer it to Google, and thank goodness I did. Now my life is way easier. But anyhow, so this is Google. Pretty sure you know your way around it already. Opening inbox and drafting and all those sort of stuff. But I need you to study. It's free. It's free, so you can don't be scared to study it. You can create a dummy account if you're scared that you're gonna mess up your own email accounts, your personal email account. So create a dummy account, check out all the settings. What you need to learn here would be, be proactive. If your client doesn't have a signature, go ahead and recommend. Be proactive. Hey, I noticed that you don't have an email signature set up yet. Let me set it up for you. What I use for my own email is a GIF, where it's like a signature of my name and it moves, it's a GIF file, and you can recommend something like that. It's bogey points for you, and there are a bunch of free tools for email signature creation that you can search online. So go ahead and search that and recommend that your client creates that you create an email signature for a client. So that's that. And then how to set up the vacation responder. You can create multiple signatures, by the way, and then just select the one that your client wants to use or you want to use for your client. And of course, the labeling is very important, that it keeps the emails organized. If it's marketing emails, you want to put it in a marketing label, so every time those marketing emails get in, as soon as they arrive, they are routed to the marketing label right away. Or if they are family emails, relatives, or if it's the daughter or the son of the client emailing, automatically you set it up where it's filtered to be routed right away to that specific label you created for those type of emails. So labels are important. And of course, the filters. How do you create filters? You just play with it. So if the email is from family@family.com, you want it to go to, or if the email has attachment, you will create the filter. You want it to go to what label, and so on. So play with this, test it out. That's very important. You need to learn how to navigate in a Gmail account. And also, of course, the chats. These are very important. Learn your way around this. The beauty of this is that, let me see if I have it there. Try it. Okay. All right. So the beauty of this is that all the shared documents can be found in the shared file. So if your client is sending you documents, you can easily check those there. So you have a history. It doesn't matter if it's been years already, it stays in that shared tab right here. And of course, you can make it smaller like this or bigger. You can also make use of the apps and integrations right here. So I would recommend that you explore this. Apps and integrations, let's check those out. Go. Oh, there. Add apps. Go if you want polls, or there's even an app here that gives you quotes, daily quotes, and stuff like that. So everything, since especially these days when everything is now AI, so you can do that. So that's the Gmail for you. Next up, your next best friend is going to be Google Sheets. So most of you are already familiar with Excel, but in the virtual world, most clients would want you to use Google Sheets. And the reason behind is that it's not a file. It's the soft copy doesn't have to be saved in your local directory in your computer, because it's all there online. It's all up in the cloud. So as you do your edits, the client sees it from his end as well. So that's the beauty of Google Sheets. And you don't really need to learn the heavy formulas in Google Sheet, just the basic. But I'm telling you, I used to have a CRM, customer relation management tool, but right now, what I recommend clients mostly is to use spreadsheets instead of paying or subscribing to a CRM system, because you can do pretty much everything with Google Sheets, and it really keeps your thing organized. So Google Sheets is going to be your best friend. Add colors, add labels, add columns, automate anything and everything, create a to-do list, budget, stuff like that. Here you go. See, You can create a checklist there. You don't even need Trello for this. Trello, again, is a project management tool. I'll show you around Trello later because I think one of you guys asked me to teach you how to use Trello. Trello is very basic. It's very user friendly too, unless you add integrations to it. Of course, that's when it gets complicated. But so learn your way around Google Sheet, and if you must do heavy automation inside Sheets, what I would recommend is for you to use ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. There's a bunch of AI tools, free AI tools there that you can use and talk to it like you would a human being, like you would a friend. About 2 years ago, one of the things that I do is one of my many things is I engineer chat prompts, AI prompts, and whatever the client needs done, I engineer the prompts. They buy it so that their company, their team could use it, and that's something that I used to do. But these days, what I've observed with the newest updates in the AI tools out there is that you don't need to engineer prompts anymore. You just have to talk to it like you would a friend or like you would your family, and it understands you right away. So the challenge there is how to express yourself or your thoughts, or how you would express what you needed to do in the most clearest way possible. So that's the challenge there. And we Filipinos, we have chat. That's one of our challenges. We we have difficulties expressing ourselves as clearly as possible. Well, Americans have that challenge too. Actually, they expect us to read their minds, but AI tools can't do that. So with practice, just practice and practice and practice, AI tools would be able to, you would be able to master it for sure. Because that's what I do. I used to engineer prompts for different types of businesses, whatever automation they need, whatever the objective is. It takes me days to get their AI process going. But these days, like I said, it's easier. So don't get overwhelmed by it. Don't get intimidated by it. Speak to it like you would a friend. So going back to the Google Sheets, if you need heavy formulas, if you need something done, for example, if you need, maybe you need the sum of the numbers from one tab to be reflected on the second tab, ask Google. I'm sorry, ask ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini. Ask your AI friend. And you can even send it screenshots of the actual screen you're seeing. You can tell it that, what I want is for this, maybe write an arrow there somewhere to reflect here, and then an arrow, and then attach those screenshots to your prompt, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be a breeze. So you don't need to learn heavy formulas when it comes to Google Sheet. All you have to do is to master AI tools and prompting, and speaking as clearly as possible when you're speaking to your AI friend. All right, so that's Google Sheets for you, another important tool. And let me see. Of course, the Drive. Google Drive, this is another thing that you need because when you're an EA, your organizational skills should be top notch. So for Google Drive, you gotta have your main folders, right? And then inside the main folders, you gotta have your subfolders, and inside those subfolders, you gotta have your subfolders. Anything to keep it clean and orderly. And your naming convention, the way you name each folder matters a lot. So your goal is to make your client's life as easy as possible, and for him to be not so dependent on you. If your client needs to look for a certain file, it's easy for him to look around his Google Drive because you've already organized everything, and that your naming convention makes sense. So make it make sense. Okay. And you can actually also, let me see if I have folders here. Okay, so there are no folders in this account. Let me move this to trash. So you can also, let me show this to you. You can add colors, label colors on your folders. So if it's important, maybe label it green or red. If it's family matter, if it's family stuff, maybe you can color it green. So, and so on and so forth. You can just get creative with this. And of course, you'd have your subfolders inside those main folders. So that's that. And of course, sharing your files, making sure that the file sharing, the access to those files and folders are restricted, because clients, Americans and Europeans, um, they're very strict when it comes to their privacy and intellectual properties. So make sure that access is always restricted, unless of course you need anyone with the link to view it but not edit it. Okay, so be mindful of that, the way you share files, and the settings of the privacy settings of each of those folders you're creating, or the documents you're creating, and so on. And of course, Google Document. If you're familiar with Word Document, pretty much the same, except it has some bells and whistles in it. Like you can automatically add a table of content on it. You can add scripts or apps on it. You can add emojis. See, there are add-ons here. Play with it. It is free. I mean, you can also do it with using your phone. You can play with it using your phone, instead of browsing TikTok or Facebook or Insta. This is a great way to be spending your time on. You upskill, you learn something new, and you have to be thirsty with new knowledge, new information, new skill all the time when you're a VA, because the digital marketing platform industry always evolves. So that's something that you can't stop. It just evolves continuously. Like I, for one, I'm studying one new AI tool for video editing just 2 weeks ago, and then I wake up a week or so later, there's a new one that's even better than the one I'm studying. There's always something new, and you always have to learn and keep up with those technology and new updates, really. So now that we've pretty much discussed the basics of Google Suite, pretty much, not all. You can also create slides here. See slides, if you need to create a presentation. Of course, YouTube, you already know YouTube, and so on. So, and also tasks. This is very helpful because there are cases when clients would send you one task after the other, maybe a whole page, a whole email, or a very, very long email of tasks. And it can get overwhelming, and it's so easy to overlook some of the tasks. And we also have the tendency to be selective with what you read or what we hear, if it's a voice meeting. So I would recommend that you use a project management tool for yourself as well. What I do is I list it all down in a notepad in my MacBook and make sure that it's all there, and then I label it done as I go through each of those tasks one by one. But you can also use this because what the beauty of this is that you just take it off. So you can easily see if there's anything that you have skipped, missed, overlooked, or anything that you can move to the following day. It helps you prioritize the urgent ones from the ones that you can do later in the day or maybe later in the week. So use this. And it's the same thing with Trello, really. But let me show you. Okay, so I don't have bookmarks in this one, but let me show you Trello. Trello is a project management tool that we have used, that I have used for more than 10 years, and I don't use it anymore. So the account that I'll be showing you is not updated anymore because this is something that I used maybe ages ago, because I don't use this for CBS. Okay, let me show you. This is Trello. So what it is that these are boards, okay? You call that boards. So you have playbook, welcome board. Those are my previous clients, and so on. So you can create a new board per client or a new board per project. That's fine. It depends on how you want to approach it. I created this. This is the one I created. Yeah. All right. So this is a board I created to show you around Trello. These columns that you find here are called lists. Okay, they're called lists. And these ones, the ones that I just moved, are called cards. So again, this whole thing is called the board, the playbook board, as I have labeled it. These columns are called lists, and these ones are called cards. So what I do when I have a client, how I used to do it, is that I put their logins in one column. So for example, Facebook, and then I add the description. Maybe the username is playbook. And the password is CBS. Okay. And then I'll save that. So that way, anytime I need this information, I just have to click this card. I'm also going to comment it. There you go. And there are power-ups here, automations that you can add. Power-ups, you can add Google Drive, you can add analytics and reporting, board utility. This is what's great about this. Although Crumble is a CRM where you can turn Trello into a CRM, a customer relation management tool. You can add Google Drive here. You can add, there, you can integrate it with Asana and so on. Okay, so explore the power-ups, although some of them needs a subscription fee. I think you are limited to a certain amount of just a few power-ups, and not all power-ups are free too. So explore it. Go ahead. Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. It's okay. So cards. If you need to create multiple cards at the same time, you don't have to go through them one by one. You can just list them down, and you can list them down. Click add a card, paste. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Say for example, I want to create one card for each of those numbers. And it would automatically create, it would give you the choice if you want 6 cards or do you want to add just one card for all these. So I'm going to do 6 cards. And there you have it. Now I have 6 cards right here. Now, for the tasks, say for example, you have task for September 17 that the client wants you to do. Or maybe you had a meeting with your client and uh, he listed down a bunch of tasks for you to do. You can create this one. Let me delete this. A checklist for, you can create a checklist for the tasks that have been assigned to you, that your client assigned to you. Let's do checklist. I'm not going to edit that anymore. Maybe check inbox. That's the first one. And then maybe the client wants you to call lawyer. Maybe the client also wants you to post on his Facebook account and so on. And then you tick it off, tick the box, check it as you go through each one of the tasks. Just like what I mentioned earlier with the Google Tasks tool, you can do the same here on Trello. And also, you can do as many items on the list as you want. And just like earlier, you can just list down all the items, paste it, and it would create one item each for the list that you have pasted. So that's that. And of course, when you scroll to the right, you can create as many lists as you want. Add another list. See that? And so on and so forth. So this is Trello for you. Pretty straightforward, but of course it gets complicated as you add more integrations into it, as you add more apps inside it. But it's gonna make your life easy, really. There's also a planner here that you can use. You can connect your client's calendar to it, so that way it's integrated. That way, it's it would read the calendar. You know, if anything is a conflict, you can easily see and yada yada. So that's that. Now, next up, I want to show you around a CRM. I have mentioned CRMs again and again throughout this conversation so far, and well, discussion or training video. I don't know what this is, but I mentioned CRM again and again today, and I want to show you a sample of what a CRM looks like. So, like I mentioned, CRM, any business, if your client handles a business, something bit me here in the forehead. Anyhow, if your client handles a business, chances are they have a CRM. And there's a very high chance that they do have a CRM, because that's how they would manage their leads or their customers or their clients. And it's a must that you have a CRM tool. What I recommend our clients is for them to use GoHighLevel, but other clients would use Salesforce, other clients would use ActiveRain, MailChimp, Boomtown. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of CRMs available online. But if you know your way around one CRM, you will pretty much know your way around all those other CRMs. And it's just a matter of learning how to navigate through each of them, because the layout would be different, the user interface would be different each time. And of course, some of them would have more functionalities than the other, yada yada. But GoHighLevel is what I highly recommend our clients. And this is GoHighLevel. This is not my own account. This is for a particular client. Okay, and the beauty of this is that it has all the functionalities you can think of for a CRM. So that is why this is what I recommend. But we're not going to go through the complicated functions of a CRM. What it is, mainly, like I mentioned earlier, it's what clients use to manage their customers, their leads. It's what they use to launch email campaigns or SMS campaigns. And sometimes it's what clients use to call leads as well, for sales calls or maybe just customer service, because it has a phone number, a soft phone as well attached to it. Most CRMs would have soft phones in it. And I mentioned earlier, your client may ask you to contact the airlines that they've booked in, and or a hotel, and you would ask, how do I call overseas? So the way to go through that is to use a soft phone, and your client should be able to provide you with a soft phone. It could be inside the CRM, just like this one I'm showing you now. See, this is the phone number, and this is, you call it just like you use it just like you would your smartphone. Okay, and let me show you. This is where the CRM is where you will find and document. This is where you document where a lead or a customer is at what stage. Okay, are they open? Are they warm? Have they already bought the product? Have they already enlisted themselves in the service that the client is providing? And so on. And it would have their phone number, their contact info. You can import it. By import, that means you can upload it to the CRM, or it can be something that automatically goes through there, because some leads or some customers, they have to fill out a form in the client's website, and when they fill out those forms, it goes directly to the CRM of the client, whatever their CRM may be. So and they go through the contacts right here, as you can see. Let me show you an example of an automated email campaign that we created for this client. Let me just make this screen a little bigger. Okay, why is it not letting me make it bigger? All right, now that's way too big. All right, so let me show you one of the that this one. Let me show you a sample of an automated email campaign, email workflow that we created for this client. We also have an SMS campaign. This one is for the opt-in. This GoHighLevel account is fairly new. I think it's just 2 weeks old, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah, a month old. And so we haven't really explored or created so much in it yet, because we're still applying to get approved for SMS texting, SMS campaigns, I mean. So this is the email workflow. Okay, there's a trigger there. How do leads get in there? And then we have created the emails right here. The usual, think spammy emails that you receive in your inbox, in your own personal email. So that's what we do here. Um, but mostly customer service, and if we are launching programs or promos, we do an email workflow for it. So here's another one. This one is a little complicated because um, it has conditions. So we text them first. We wait 1 day for them to reply. If they say stop, this is the flow. This is not done yet. It's not complete yet. We have yet to add more there. So it grows. So if they reply stop, what's the action that we're going to take? If they reply help, do we send a text again? If they say yes, what's the action? And so on. So it has a lot of branches, this workflow. So basically, what you will do, the most common thing. You don't need to learn how to do that flow chart workflow thingy situation. But what you need is to learn to manage the contacts or the leads in the client's CRM, because there's a chance that they would ask you to do that. And when you manage it, you have to tag it properly. Like, is it a new client? Because your client may have their own tagging system. So you add the tags. You also add notes where they're at. If they declined the service, they didn't want to buy the product or whatever. Make sure that everything is documented for that particular lead. So that way, should the client need the information about that lead, it's all stored in the CRM. That is the purpose of this, among many other things. Okay, so that's what a CRM is. Now, let me show you. Oh, I don't have Slack here. Let me show you what Slack looks like. Okay. This is Slack. It is pretty much like your Facebook Messenger, where the group chats are called channels and it's named with a hashtag. Okay, so in this example, this is for one of our clients. Each product, each business would have their own channel, and this is where we communicate. So again, it's just like, don't get overwhelmed, don't get intimidated by it, because it's just like Facebook group chat. You can add a canvas, you can add files to it, link, you can customize the tabs, you can add workflows, and so on. And again, it's free. You don't need to upgrade to learn it. And if you want to study it, you want to explore it, and you need someone to add to it, to chat, to test it out with, DM me. I'll be happy to test it out with you. So this is what Slack looks like. Okay. All right. Well, now I think that's it for today. We have tackled the basics of Google Suite, CRM, Trello, Slack, and DM me, please, because I want to know what you need me to share to you. I want to know how I can help you, because I'd be happy to do that. I don't bite. Let me know. And again, it's free. I'm not going to offer you anything for you to buy. This is not MLM. It's not networking. But really, I just want to help. Okay? Yeah. Thank you for watching this. I hope you learned something. Maybe next time I'll show you around AI tools. Maybe Copilot, Gemini, or ChatGPT. Let's uh let's see how that goes. Thanks again. I hope you learned something new today.